Greetings, dear children. My name is Fahmida Khalik, and today we are going to do a very wonderful chapter which is written by Susan Hill, and the title of the chapter is On the Face of It. It's written by Susan Hill. Let's talk something about Susan Hill, who she is. Susan Hill is a contemporary writer. She's an English writer. She's an English author of fiction as well as non-fiction works. She has written so many novels, and her famous novels include The Woman in Black, The Mist in the Mirror, and The King of the Castle, for which she has received the Somerset Maugham Award in 1971. She was born in the year 1942, and her age is right now, she is currently 78 years old. So Susan Hill she's a novelist as well as a playwright, and this is a play we are going to deal with. On the Face of It is actually a play, and she is often called as a children's writer. Now, starting with the play On the Face of It, it's a dialogue in between two people. Two important characters are involved in this. Play. One is Mr. Lamb and the other is Derry. Mr. Lamb is an elderly person who is with a disability. He has a tin leg. His leg has been blown off in a war. He's a war survivor and is without a leg and has a tin leg. He's an artificial one, but he is happy and he has accepted this kind of deformity. Maybe it's because of the age factor, because he is old and he is little emotionally stable. I'll tell you the differences between the two later in the later part of the chapter. So then comes Derry. Derry is a young teenage boy of 14 years. He's just 14, he's in teenage, so whenever he has a deformity, he has a scarred face, he has a burnt face, half of his face is gone. Accidentally, some acid fell on his face, and he has now a burnt face. So now when he's just in a tender age, and he is not so experienced and not so mature to accept all these things. So now what is the need of this chapter, and what is the title of this chapter? This title is very much apt, and it suggests actually that you don't have to judge the book on the on its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. So it's like that famous quote that don't judge a person on his face value. Sometimes face values or these perceptions based on the physical appearance can be deceptive. You never know what the person is inside, who he is actually. And these are the things that we have to discuss in this chapter. And Susan Hill is actually trying to make us understand that if a person has a shabby appearance, we start valuing him, we start judging him, that this person is harmful. If you remember in your childhood days when you will not eat your food, and there is mom, she will tell you that, oh, Gabbar is coming. So this is like a Gabbar figure we are making in the society. When there is a person who is a little mad, or is kind of eccentric, or he has some mental disability, we start figuring him, we start posing him as a threat to our children, that if you will not finish it, if you will not do this kind of thing, if you will not finish your homework, so I'm going to call that person. He will just come and he will just take you in the bag, or he will just eat you up. So these are the famous things. It's almost the story of each and every household. Especially in India, we do have a common thing like this. So that fat person, that mad person, that shabby, with the person with shabby appearance is made like that, a threat to this child, and he starts feeling and he starts taking this person that he is going to bring me some harm. So this is the thing, when we see any kind of person who has a mental disability or a physical disability, or he has a limp, then we start remembering, recollecting those things, and then we stay aloof, we stay away from this person, because deep down this thought is there, okay, this is harmful, he is harmful, he might bring me some harm. And so this is actually the society, how knowingly or unknowingly we make them feel alienated. We make them feel that yes, you do not fit in this society. So Susan Hill is actually making us become more sensitive towards them. So children, let me tell you what actually becoming sensitive towards them means. It's not that you will feel, oh, poor chap, oh my God, such a pain, such a terrible life, and then you feel little sympathy towards them. This is not that how the society has to be sensitized towards them. Being sensitive means that if you are in a position to do something for them, you should. Until recent past, if we will find in our own country, there were no special arrangements for these people. And on railways, in airports, in hospitals, in schools, there were no special arrangements that were made for these people, though we were very aware that yes, they need certain kind of different toilets or something. They need some workplace which is meant for them, with some changes or some modifications, but we hardly take a note of it, that are they really fine, are they really in that position that they are good and they are working fine. And in the first place, we have to pose a question to ourselves: are we really taking them in? Are we really giving them jobs? Are we really giving them some opportunities to be a part of the mainstream society? I think it was a big no. But yes, now things are changing. So this is the chapter which will tell us that you have to be sensitive. And second more important thing that Susan Hill is there giving us as a theme of the chapter is very important theme, that love yourself, embrace yourself, no matter what the deformity is, no matter what the disability is. You can have some part of disability. We are all with flaws, children. Nobody is like a perfect. If we are perfect, we are gods. So then we are with flaws. We are human beings. We are all, we are fallibles. We are not infallibles. We can fall, we can have deformities, disabilities, we can met with accidents. This is something which will happen. And then what is the very important thing is that, like, that it's not important you will not fall. It's like that how you will get up and rise again. This is what matters in the end. So you might have a disability, you might have some harsh time in your life, but what is very important is like accept it, and then get up, embrace yourself, love yourself, accept it, and then world will accept you. This is very important. And do not shy away, do not run away from the reality. What is very important is confrontation. You need to confront your fears. So Derry here, for example, is one such character. As I told you, that he is so young and tender in age, he doesn't have that experience and exposure that how to handle this kind of a situation. People mock at him, people ridicule about him. They tell him that you do not fit into the society. They whisper when he is around. They start whispering, oh wow, terribly face, oh God, only a mother can love such a face. So these are the statements which are given, which are, given about him or talked about him. And then he overhears, and then he overthinks. He becomes very sensitive that yes, I do have a deformity. I am a disabled. I am no more useful for the society. So I am good for nothing. So this is the kind of feeling he is with, and this has resulted in a distorted personality of Derry. And we can see that he is full of all that inferiority complex, and confidence level is nowhere. He doesn't have any confidence at all to confront people and take their statements or take their remarks, whatever they are saying. On the other hand, and this has made him very negative, and he is full of, such a pessimistic attitude, and he has such a pessimistic attitude towards life that he's almost everywhere when he goes or he is around. And even if two people are discussing about, they are cracking a joke, he will feel that, oh, they are talking about me. So he's full of those notions. So he's already full of these notions that yeah, people might be talking about me, they must be discussing about my face, even if they have not noticed it, but he still feels like that. So he has these preconceived notions in him. Now on the other hand, we have Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb is also with a deformity. He has a deformity. He has a tin leg, but he has accepted it. Maybe it's because of the age factor. He is old and he is stable emotionally. Now, he is very positive, and he never minds that people call him Lamey Lamb. He often gives a statement that I don't mind it because I am a lame person, so I do have a limp while walking. So they are speaking the truth. Why do I have to mind about it? Why do I have to bother about this thing which is true? So he has accepted these things like that. He's very close to nature. He loves to have friends. He's very open, very friendly in his talks. He has some peculiarities, like he keeps his garden gates open. He keeps his house open. Anybody can come, and this shows that he is very welcoming. He is not shutting his emotions, shutting them down or shutting them inside him, and not letting them out. So he talks a lot, he is outspoken, he loves to make friends, he loves nature, he loves flowers, he loves bees, and he loves weeds, which is very peculiar. No one loves weeds, but he has a philosophy to say that why do we have to love only the crop? Even weeds are also important. So weeds have their own importance. And this philosophy, then he is transcending to to Derry, and then Derry finds a change. Derry is a changed person. We will see in the story how it all happens. But before that, let me give you some examples which are very much relevant, and this will make this chapter relevant in the times of today also. How? Let's do something, a bit of research about these kind of people who actually have these deformities, and then how they have like taken this and accepted the life. First case I would like to discuss about is she's an acid attack survivor. 2-3 of them are acid attack survivors, and there is one more war survivor, which I have picked as examples to not to like feel you depressed, but this is to show you that how you can accept, embrace yourself, and then keep on, go on with this deformity, and you should look at the positive and brighter side of the life. This is what the chapter is all about. So the first case I'm going to tell you is Lakshmi Agarwal. Lakshmi Agarwal she's a acid attack survivor. We all know it. She was just 15 years of age when she was wooed by a person who was elderly, who was I think 32 years of age. He wanted to marry this girl, so he proposed her, but she rejected the proposal, and because of this, then ultimately she has to face that acid on her body. This was very difficult for her, but she pulled herself together, and she is leading a normal life now. She is working actually to bring in the stricter laws for the open sale of acid in India, which is openly, like people sell it openly there in their shops as if it's a mineral water bottle. So it's less cheaper than that, and they get it easily. So she is trying to bring in the stricter laws against it. And second thing she is doing, she is running a cafe wherein she has hired all these acid attack survivors, or we can say people with different kind of disability, and then she is actually working with some NGOs and is associated with them and helping these acid attack survivors. Now coming to the second example, it's Anmol Rodrigues. Anmol Rodrigues was just 2 years of age. She was just 2 years old when she was in the lap of her mother, and acid was thrown on him by her own father. So acid was thrown on them by her own father, and then it was like she was not at the faulty end. The mother succumbed to the injuries, but the daughter survived. And the daughter is actually, she had a dream of becoming a fashion model, and she successfully pursued that. She is a successful model and is working with many NGOs to help these people, to help these kind of people get jobs and all. Now coming to the third example, who is a male, Chandrahas Mishra. So his own landlord's son actually did this to him. He threw acid on his face. Why? The reason is that he was actually trying to save a woman from the assault, who the landlord's son was trying to assault, and he tried to intervene, and this became the cause of his being an acid attack, being under the attack of this acid. So he attacked him, and he was a businessman, but he continued to be a successful businessman. Not only a successful businessman, he is also working with many NGOs and is helping these kind of people like him. Now coming to the fourth example, which is very important to discuss, like this person is completely a different motivation, different level of motivation. I'm talking about Major D.P. Singh, who was a Kargil war survivor in 1999. He was declared dead when he was brought to the hospital. His body weight was reduced to 12 kg after so long process of treatments and surgeries and whatnot. And then look at this man. He has a famous quote to say that people often call us that you are you are the challenged ones. They are physically challenged. How are we physically challenged? We are the challengers. So he has started a group of he has started a kind of, we can say, that support group which has more than 1,000 members now. And that group is, he has named it as We the Challengers. So look at this man. He is a motivational speaker. He is not only the motivational speaker, he is a TED talker also, plus he is the first Blade Runner of India. He's a marathoner, children. So look at where from he came, what happened to him, and then how he has risen like a star, and he is shining and motivating others to live a healthy and peaceful and happy life, we can say. So this is how people embrace their deformities and disabilities. Now I will tell you what government is actually doing for these kind of people. Now let me tell you, children, what government is doing actually for these kind of people, for these disabled peoples, for these disabled people. First of all, International Day of Disabilities is celebrated on 3rd December. Now it's not only up to the limits of this celebration only. No, it's like that we need to appreciate them, and government is actually doing, Indian government is actually doing it. In 1969, the government of India approved a scheme for presenting national awards to outstanding persons with disabilities, and that award is named as Devyanjan. Now what is this Devyanjan? Devyanjan means actually the people with special abilities or disabled people. So Divya, special, Ang means a part, and then Jan is a person. So a person with some special ability, with some deformity, with some disability, and it's to award them who are outstanding, both as employers as well as employees. So first of all, this is the thing that government is trying to do, and trying to bring them as a part of mainstream society. Now coming to this, the Municipal Corporation of Indore, Madhya Pradesh, received the award in 2018. I mean, it's a recent award which was given to them for the outstanding work in providing barrier-free environment, or providing, we can say, that kind of an environment which is fit for these people, in terms of where it can be anywhere. It can be in educational centers, it can be in health centers, it can be in offices, it can be in terms of, for example, providing them or modifying their toilets. So this is an award to given to Indore, the Municipal Corporation of Indore, in the year 2018. Now children, let's discuss the summary of the chapter, and the summary is like, it so happens that one day Derry is so fed up of the comments of the people that he decides to run away from the home, and just to go to the other side of the world, and just to go find a refuge so that he can escape this pain, even if it's for a shorter while. So then what he does is, actually he just peeps into the garden of Mr. Lamb. He's not aware that this is Mr. Lamb's garden, and Mr. Lamb is therein. He doesn't know anything about it. So what he does is, he actually peeps and there finds that nobody is there. So it's a fine place for me to spend some time and be there for a while. But the moment he jumps off the next side of the wall, the other side of the wall, there is the voice of Mr. Lamb. Mind the apples. What is Mr. Lamb doing in the garden? He's working in the garden with crab apples, and there is the windfall. So windfall is actually that fruit which is ripe, and then it falls down on its own. Nobody picks them out, and then he's trying to tell him that please mind the apples, otherwise gates are open, you can come. As I told you, as I mentioned it earlier also, that he has a peculiarity of keeping all the gates open. This is to show that how welcoming and how friendly he is. But then people visit him, or people do not like to visit him. That is a different question. So often what happens is with Mr. Lamb, that people do come to take apples, or they do come to find that who is there living in this home alone, but finding that he is a peculiar kind of a person. He is so scary, like he is living all alone by himself, so he might harm us. As I already mentioned, that there are some preconceived notions in our minds too. Then we try to escape. So this is what happens with this person also. Now when Derry is therein, he is so much confused, and he's so nervous to run. He wants to go back, and he's telling him that I dash. I thought that there is no one, and he's very nervous in his speech. Mr. Lamb but is handling the situation very confidently and very tactfully, like an experienced person. He is making him sit there, he is making him be there, asking different questions, breaking the ice, starting a conversation with the person, with the child, and makes him open up. So then Derry starts being there, he's answering his questions, and then Derry is finally telling him that, okay, fine, now why don't you tell me like others that you do have a scar on face, why is it, how is it, why don't you ask me about these things, why don't you even tell me that you look ugly? But Mr. Lamb is handling the situation and telling him that, no, I don't need to, it hardly matters for me that you do have a scar. If you wish I can ask, but I don't think that it will really matter for me who you are, why did you come here, or anything like that. Why is this scar? How has it, how has this thing happened to you? These things do not matter a lot for me. I don't have to ask you such questions. If you want to reveal your identity, tell me something about yourself. If you wish, you can, but it hardly matters for me. You have come to visit me, it's fine. Otherwise, you just jumped off the wall. Otherwise, it wasn't required. The gates are open. You could have come easily. And I do have a lot of friends. Then he's changing the talks and taking him to the nature, taking him to talking about bees, talking about flowers, talking about how he loves all the creation in the world, and then making him feel positive. And Derry is actually opening up. You will find it when you will read the text. He's actually opening up and he started liking the place. After a long conversation regarding so many things, Mr. Lamb gives him some anecdotes to make him believe what actually life is. He's making him understand that you should love your life. Life has there are a lot of things to explore. It's not that somebody is telling you something and you're taking it to the heart. Why? You hardly know these people. Even if they are commenting at you, even if they are telling you something, why do you heed? Why do you listen to them? Why do you bother than yourself? This is not worth it. So he's making him realize, why do you listen to everybody's things? They have stuff to tell, they have stories to tell, they have comments to pass. So listen to it and then just move on. It's okay. So then he's making him realize all these important lessons of life. And Derry is actually liking these, and he's feeling that, yes, I am, for the first time he's getting counseling children. So before that, it's like he's telling him that I have heard so many people talking at my face. Some try to talk about me at my back when I am not there around, and they will say that, look at him, look at this poor chap, how terrible the face is, how ugly he looks. Only a mother can love such a face, when in Derry is very much aware that even my mother kisses my cheek, but the other side of the face, not that burnt side. And he is feeling this terrible and he's shocked at these things. But Mr. Lamb is making him realize that, okay, fine, your mother is not kissing you on that very side of the face. Have you ever tried to show your love? Have you ever tried to show her that how much you love her? Have you ever tried to kiss her? Any person who is like kissing you, maybe to the other side, or maybe on the other side of the face, maybe with this emotion and that emotion, but when you're cold, how far he will like it? Have you even realized that how far your mother likes it? Have you thought about your mother's emotions? So he is making him realize that world is not about only what you get, it's about what you give. So even if they are not doing it, why can't you give it? You have the hands, you have legs to walk. Look at me, I don't have the leg even. I have an artificial leg. But Derry is smart. He's telling him that you can cover it up with the trouser. What about my face? I cannot cover it up. But then he's telling him, he's making him feel that it hardly matters. Learn to embrace yourself with your flaws. You are not an angel, you are not a god. So you better like yourself, then people will like you. So life has a lot to give you, and try to give it to others. So learn, love, everything. So he's talking about all these things, and Derry is actually liking it. How can we say that Derry is actually liking the conversation and this meeting with Mr. Lamb? It accidentally happened, children. But now he is staying there. He could have left. But he is still there. He's enjoying the conversation with the man, and he's asking him so many questions. He's clearing, as if he's clearing his doubts. And look at Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb is giving him anecdotes. One such anecdote, which is very funny in the chapter, is like he's telling him a story about a person who has a fear of death. Fear of death to that extent that he locked himself in a room. That, no, I don't have to go out. What if I will met with an accident? I'll be crushed by a train, by a bus, or I'll skid on a banana skin, and then I will fall and people will laugh at me. And these are the things. And one funny excuse is like, what if I'm in love with a girl, and then girl gives me a heartbreak, so I'll obviously be in pain. So these kind of excuses he's giving, and he's locking himself in the room. So then finally what happens to this person, that there was a picture in his room, and it suddenly fell off, and it straight away fell off on his head, thereby killing this person in the room. So this made Derry laugh, to have a burst of laughter. And for the first time we see that he is laughing and he's enjoying. And then finally realizing and talking about so many things, Mr. Lamb is giving him all the definitions about weeds, how you can love, this is my philosophy, I believe in this and that thing, which he is actually grasping and learning from him. And then finally we can say that yes, there is Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb tells that I do have a lot of friends, but no one is actually visiting him. And then Derry is smart enough to catch it that no, actually you don't have many friends. Where are they then? So there is no one. You're all alone. You're all by yourself. Nobody is coming. Nobody is here. I'm here from last one hour or so, but nobody is there in this story. I mean, nobody is coming to your home. So then he is feeling that yes, he is deep down, he's also alone. But what a commendable thing he has done. What a cover, what a shield to protect himself and feel that yes, I am alive. Just changing the thoughts, just changing the things, and just looking at the different angles of life, looking at different things, that yes, this is different, that is different, weed is different, flowers are there. And he's at one place telling us children that I do have observed these bees. So do we have enough time to observe bees? This is one more clue to support your answer if there's a question that is he really alone? Like, is there a theme of alienation or aloneness there for Mr. Lamb as well? That yes, he is. He is, and how can we suggest it's from the textbook that he has enough time to observe bees and nature? I mean, do we really have that much of time to observe bees? They hum, they buzz, and then he's saying that no, they don't really buzz, they hum actually, and which is sing, so bees sing. So these things actually tell us that yes, he doesn't have anyone there around to talk to or spend time with, and that is why he's spending too much of time with nature, with different things that nature has provided him. And now what is the next part of the story is like, Derry is very much willing to stay there, and he is asking Mr. Lamb that can I stay? But Mr. Lamb is clearly telling him that it's not me who you should ask, it's you. You should ask this question to yourself. Do you really want to be here? If yes, then you're welcome. I cannot tell you. I don't have answers to each and every question. So this is the question that you have to decide. So he's actually making him realize that you need to decide for yourself. So take that decision for yourself. If you want to come here, if you want to stay with me for a while, you can. You're always welcome. But little boy, when you will go home, you will yourself not be willing to come back to me. So this will happen. And then Derry is then telling that no, I will definitely be back. Please wait for me. You do have to do these apples. You have to pick the apples today. So I'm going to help you. Will you mind if I'll help you? So he's telling that no, you are most welcome if you want to help me, but I don't think you will come back, because he's aware that maybe he doesn't have that much of courage to face his mother or maybe the family, or maybe he is not willing by himself to come back. So there are so many things. And then he's telling him that, yeah, if you want to come, you can. Derry is promising him that please wait for me. I'll be back. I'll rush to my home. I do have legs. I'm not like you, that I have a tin leg. I can run quickly and I can come back. It's just 3 miles and I'll be back. So he's making him feel that, yeah, I'm going to come back. Now there is one more scene there with mother and with the mother of Derry and Derry. Now Derry is actually trying to convince his mother, that I do have to go back. Mr. Lamb is waiting for me. I have promised him that I'll come back. But what is mother? I mean, look at the mother's statement. She's telling him that, don't I know? Do you think that I don't know anything about the man? I do know what he does, what he talks. I know who he is. So again, that preconceived notion about the man, she hardly was aware about who Mr. Lamb is, but she was trying to make this boy feel that yes, he is living alone, he is a limp, he has that, he's a lamy lamb, so it's better for you to stay away from him, making him feel that like he is a threat to you. And then Derry is for the first time deciding things for himself and telling his mother that, no, mother, you cannot stop me now. It hardly matters that I do have a scar. He has opened my eyes. I can see the world now with a better perspective. I do have a different perception now. Please do not stop me. If I will not go this time, it will be never. I cannot, conquer this fear. So I just want to go there and I just want to be with him. I have promised him that I will help him for, picking up the apples. So it's better for me to leave. And then he leaves the house. The moment he leaves the house, he is there in the other scene is there in Mr. Lamb's garden. Now Mr. Lamb is there, he's picking the apples, and there's a sound of thrash-like sound, and Mr. Lamb falls down. When Mr. Lamb falls down, he is lying there in the grass, and Derry approaches him, panting, quickly approaching, running towards him and telling him that, Mr. Lamb, please get up. Mr. Lamb, I have promised, I have kept my promise. I am back to you. Please don't go, come back. But all in vain. Mr. Lamb has already lost the battle of his life, so he was dead. And this is how the journey of Mr. Lamb comes to an end. But what is very important to note down is $1 million question. It's a $1 million question, that what will happen to Derry? What do you think will happen to Derry? Derry is going to go back in the world of his seclusion and remain there? Or he will be just, this newly achieved confidence and this breaking that shell and coming out of that cocoon. How is he going to live his life? So we can clearly say that yes, it was the mother who he confronted. Now there is no one else who he cannot, because one is very close to the mother. I mean, the closest of all. When he confronted her, he just left her that, no, I do have to keep my promise. So we can clearly say that he can conquer now any kind of fear, and he will continue the path. He will continue to walk on the path that was shown to him by Mr. Lamb. So we can say that he is the rightful heir to Mr. Lamb, and he will pass on this legacy of Mr. Lamb will be passed on to him, and he is rightfully an heir to him. So this is how it ends. So what is very important, children, please be sensitive. The theme of the play here is the play depicts beautifully this pain of disabled people, their miseries, their plight, how they feel, how they talk, what is going on in their minds, how can we help them. So this is the first thing, that they do need some kind of appreciation, and they need a cooperation so that we can lift them up. And second is that it's not about the physical pain, it's about they do have to go lot of trauma emotionally by our taunts, by our mockings. So we do have to refrain from that and accept them, hold their hands and bring them in as a part of the mainstream. So hope you enjoyed the lecture. So bye-bye and take care.